Hi, welcome to Channel Messages with Sandra. Today is Friday. Oh gosh, I always forget, September 6th, 2024. I do find it doesn't necessarily matter when you find these videos, because I noticed that when I watched some of the people that I liked years ago. I never checked on the date and it said 3 years earlier, and it resonated with me perfectly then. So, do what you take what the story, take what resonates. I'm just trying to get this because I don't have a proper table over here. It's always something. Today we're doing Virgo. Virgos. I forgot the name of this deck. I'll have to look it up again. But it's the regular tarot. But just, a different deck. I usually like to start with some sort of story, something. And all I kept hearing was Virgos. Come out wherever you are. That's what I kept hearing. Now, because these are general readings, take what resonates, save it for another day. I get feedback plus I'm a medium too, so I'll get feedback for that field also. But even 5-10 years later, even not necessarily channeling spirit, but like, oh, that's the name of the block I moved to 10 years later. So, crazy things. Hold on to it, and for those that reflect or learn how I read. Did I study the cards? Sure, I still always study them because there's always something new you can learn. But I am an intuitive reader. I'm a channeler. So, most of us are. Take what resonates. Hold on to it. And I do find, even though if you're a Virgo listening, if you have a loved one Virgo, a friend, co-worker, boss, sometimes it's for them and it's a heads up for you, or you can learn something from that. Just fix. I know they always say, don't fix. I'm just me. We've all had lives. We've all had craziness. Virgos, come out. That's all I keep hearing is Virgos, come out wherever you are. So we're going to do a few cards, and we'll see how this goes, because since I have, I'm working here with, it's a little, it's a little unsteady, let's say. So listen, I always say nothing in a reading gets wasted, especially by me, people like me. If something feels unsteady, pay attention to that. Oh, it's very hot in here. I should have brought a fan. Pay attention to that. If something feels unsteady. Oh. Did you see the card? Two things. Because I used it as a fan, I'm not sure how I picked it up. I'm not sure if I picked it up right side up or in reverse. So we're going to read it both ways. I got hot. There's no accidents in readings, especially with someone like me. There just aren't. Why did I get hot all of a sudden? It was warm in here. I knew I could have plugged in a fan for here. It's a smaller room. But I didn't. There's a tower moment, here or coming. Please bear in mind, tower moment yes, it's a breakdown usually, but it reminds you that your foundations are strong, even for those who don't think that they're strong. If you've had a lot of trauma, if you've had a lot of craziness, crazy people in your life, and that's in quotes, because usually crazy, it comes from trauma too. And we do attract who's supposed to heal us. That's why some relationships, it's who's healing us. And everyone says, well, and when we reflect in sessions, Sure enough, I'll say, well, didn't you see that before marriage or before, 5 years ago? What about 10? It's either they excused it, overlooked it, thought, some people, I know it goes around that some people think they can change others. And while that's true, it's actually the fantasy. And Virgos are known for doing both. That's why. That makes perfect sense. Virgos are known for being practical and also living in fantasy. The illusion, the want, the hope. Which is fine, but we have to do two things. We have to say to ourselves, I am healed. I am this. It is. They are. If you ever listen to like a Bruce Lipton or what's the other one's name? A couple of them. That really get into the epigenetics and the psychology of, and not heavy duty, sometimes you have to replay the videos repeatedly. But you can extrapolate enough from it to change your life. Start saying, for those with the cards upright, start saying, I am healed. I do have my own home. I do have my own apartment. I have the dog that's perfect for me. I have the love that's perfect for me. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. People don't like it, but it really is inner work. It truly is how we feel about ourselves. Because you can't be happy if you're not happy with yourself. It'll feel like, oh yeah, no, I've been happy. My family's this, and that. I'm not happy. Then you're not happy. Even if everyone else is. Virgos, where this card is happening now or coming up, you just strengthen your resolve. Know that you can get through anything. And it's going to be different degrees for some people. So let's pick, while it's right side up, let's pick Page of Wands. Page of Wands, that's new beginnings. Because it's the first card in the court cards, right? So it also is the number 4. Because kings would be 1, queens are 2, knights are 3, pages are 4. So that shores up your belief, or maybe you're unsure about it, that you have 4 corners to your foundation. This is strong. Chairs, right? They have, usually most of them, not stools, but they have 4 legs. I just read for horses because I go to some of the horse stables, and I'm an animal communicator, so I channel for them as well. And some of them, it is not often with horses. Sometimes other animals, but not horses. They are so grounded. They are like really, truly grounded. It's amazing. That's what I'm picking up here. So some of you have a horse animal guide as your animal guide. So look them up. Look them up because they're very, very healing. And it feels like there's a healing that's needed. This is creativity. So the tower moments do not just have to be like a crushing blow. Sometimes the tower moment is where we believe something that it happened to a lot of people from 2020, moving forward. It's like, oh, the world's not like how we thought it was. Oh, they've been lying about our history. Oh my God, everything is a lie. Not literally, but a lot. And that was a tower. These 4 years have been a tower moment for a lot of people. They've woken up to a lot of things, and then it makes them explore more. That can be a tower moment. It does not, which can appear devastating for some people, because it's like, well, I used to believe in that. I met a woman who worked for the airlines, and we talked about 9/11, And I told her a couple things, and she says, what do you mean? She says, but we celebrate, not celebrate, but they, they do something every year. I said, well, of course, a lot of people participate in the memorial of it and the recognition of the day, but it was nowhere near what they said. So, no, that's a long story. I won't get into that now. You either know or you don't know. Which, oh my gosh, see, I'm a channeler. I had no idea I was going to go in that direction. That's a tower moment, and we're coming up to 9/11. So if you or a loved one have been involved with that, you're welcome to comment here. If you need information, I'll do my best to get it to you. But we know that there's censorship, so I don't know how to do that. But you can look up plenty. I'll do my best with putting it up in comments if need be. But there's plenty of, if you need to research what actually happened that day, and definitely the days and months leading up to it and then after it, there's tons of people. You just start somewhere and you say, no, that doesn't sound true. Oh, but that does. And that's how we research what feels right, what sounds right, because they just put it up, I think the Lancet, Lancet, it's a scientific journal. They had advertised in August. They put up a whole thing. The editor or whoever does that said they believe more than 50%, and it might have been higher number of scientific articles, scientific discoveries, or a whole bunch of other words, are inaccurate. That's a lot. That's a lot. And everyone follows and I'm going to spell because I don't want censorship. So SCIENCE. You think it's a simple word? It's not on here. I'm watching people's videos being taken down. So it's a long, we spent a lot of time on it, but I'm telling you, this is a new discovery. Pages learn. Pages at the beginning, they're learning, they're open to learning, and it's the wands. Wands are creation, imagination. Sometimes we have to use our imagination to say, oh, things aren't the way we thought they were. That can be the tower moment. It doesn't have to be a crushing blow. For most Virgos, it's not a crushing blow. Okay, so now let's read it in lower polarity, because I'm not sure, because no, it got hot again. It's gonna happen. So this is hysterical. Before I started reading, all I kept seeing was the Hermit card, which is the Virgo. So, well, because it's in reverse, we're reading with this in reverse. This is, we had the tower moment. Perhaps we need to rest. Perhaps we definitely need to go inside, think about things, review things. We don't want to dwell on the past tons and every day and every moment, but we need to research. We need to act like a reporter and say how, why, when, what was I thinking? What program is in my brain that made me think that that relationship would work out, or that it was okay, or that my decision would have been good. Now, we know that we don't like one decision, we make another. But the tower moment in reverse says we passed it, or you're passing it right now. This is go within, learn from why that happened, even if it's a small argument, because these are general readings, so they have to be in degrees. And sometimes it could be several. Even for one person, it could be several. It could be, you had arguments, small arguments, little disagreements, but it's still, you want to work through them. You want to contemplate and think and ruminate it a little bit, enough to understand it. And if we can't understand it, we put it to the side and we come back to it later. And then a higher degree, obviously, is in reverse. We are so past it. This is the time for people like me, or coaches, psychologists and stuff. It's good to have more. The more experiences you have in life, And that's what I tell, like my students or tell other people. The more experiences you have in life, the more books you read, the more, you don't have to go through heartache after heartache in order to coach somebody through love. You just don't. But you have to know enough. I had a teacher one time who taught poetry, and yet he said he never wrote poetry. I think there was a difference in his class, because it just would have been different. There would have been more of a connection. He liked poetry. I don't know how much. This was, a long time ago. So we need as many experiences as possible. And that's why the Tower Moment says you're getting them, you're acquiring them. Spend time reflecting on it. I read books. I never used to do this, but I need to do it now. I will make marks in the book. I used to just put little sticky pads, little, pieces of the sticky notes next to it and write on that. Occasionally I'll still do that too, but most of the time I'm writing in the books. That's my decision. You don't have to do that. They're my books. I'm going to keep them some of them I'm going to keep as long as I can, especially because it's got information in it now in excess of what the author wrote. That's this pairing. In reverse, I got to remind you. Learn, take notes, keep a journal. Grateful journals for either one, upright or low, high or low polarity. Keep a journal. Keep a grateful journal. I did one coming out of a depression years ago, and I was in a depression. I was in a depression, and it took years to come out of it. And one of the ways that came out of it was keeping a grateful journal. And I literally started with one thing, and I struggled to think of what the one thing was. And I literally wrote, "I'm grateful for the television." Because that's all I could focus on. I wasn't even reading for those few years. It was longer than that, but just for a few years, I wasn't even reading. Not really. I think I was crocheting a lot. Something to keep a little busy. But so this is, if you're feeling that down, you're going to come out of it. Both of you, both sides of this reading. If it's happening or going to happen, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Somebody, somehow, our higher self, guides, loved ones, they will show us the way. They just show us the way. Okay, open to comments. Thanks for joining. I like doing these. I know I tell people, and they see me in person, they're always saying, do more. Like, well, join my group. I do them twice a month and that. But here, I try to do more. I like doing them. I love channeling. Take the time for yourself. Virgos, take the time for yourself. Find out what, find out what you like and don't like. That's how we get through Tower moments. That's how we can help others get through their Tower moments. Yes? You are loved, you are loved, and you are lovable. Never forget that. Never forget that that's the core of you. All right. Go play. Go play.